Okay, in this video, we're going to do chapter 4 topics, which is basically talking about um, writing out checks and checkbook balances. But we're really going to focus on is the reconciliation process. And that is the process of making sure that everything that's on your bank account you have recorded in your checkbook balance, and everything that's in your checkbook balance is showing up on your bank statement. So therefore, you should have the same balances in both places. And more often than not, the balances are not the same because of differences in timing or processing checks or deposits. So, for example, if if I write a check to pay a bill, the bank, I write that down in my checkbook balance. However, the bank takes several days to process it. So when I write that down in my checkbook balance, my balance on my checkbook is not going to match what's on my statement until the bank processes that check. So because of the timing differences in the way things are processed, a lot of times your balances aren't going to be the same. So when we make sure that everything is the same in both columns of our checkbook balance and our bank statement, that is called bank reconciliation process. So some of the things you want to do when you're doing the reconciliation process, there's some steps, some things to pay attention to. One thing you want to do is make sure you identify outstanding checks. So like I just said, that's the example I just discussed with you. That's if I write a check, but the bank hasn't processed it yet. So I have to make sure that that shows up on my bank statement. So then the next thing you want to make sure of is look for deposits in transit. And so deposits in transit would be if I made a deposit, if I deposited my payroll check into my account, but the bank hasn't processed it yet, it takes a couple days, I might write that down in my checkbook recorder, but I don't see it on my bank statement yet, so there's going to be a difference in my balance. So I want to look for deposits that are in transit, meaning look out to make sure that the bank has processed that deposit for me. The next thing, you want to make sure that you analyze the bank statement for transactions not recorded in check stubs or check registers. So these are basically things like fees for overdraft or ATM fees, or making sure that you record your interest from your bank account. And step 4 is look for recording errors. So make sure that you're adding and subtracting correctly. Make sure that you didn't write something down twice, or make sure you didn't copy something down wrong. So step number 4 is just the basic, just check for general mistakes. And then number 5 is once you have all that information checked, then you want to make sure that you do your additions and subtractions and both columns have the same balance at the end. So let's do our first example. It says, Rosa Garcia received her February 3rd, 2015 bank statement showing a balance of $212.80. So that is what her bank statement says. So we're going to write that down here. This is her bank statement balance. Rose's checkbook has a balance of $929.15. So we're going to put that in her checkbook balance here. The bank statement showed that Rosa has an ATM fee of $12. So this is telling me that on her bank statement, the bank has recorded that she has a $12 fee. Now she needs to make sure that that is in her checkbook balance, that she personally records that on her checkbook recorder. So that's a deduction because that's coming out of your account. So under the checkbook balance, I'm going to put a deduction, so that's a minus of $12. It says there's also a deposited check return fee of $20. So That's another fee for $20. So that's going to go under the deductions. It says Rosa earned interest of $1.05. So on her bank statement, it says that's her interest. So she needs to make sure that she also records that in her personal checkbook recorder. So we're going to add, that's going to be an addition because she's earned that interest, except in the plus column. It says also she has 3 outstanding checks. Check number 300 for $18.20. Check number 302 for $38.40. And check number 303 for $68.12. So this means those are checks that she recorded in her checkbook, but the bank hasn't processed them yet. So we need to make sure that those go in the bank column under deductions because those are checks that she wrote, so that's money coming out of her account. Now, you also want to make sure, because I've made this mistake too, which is why I'm pointing this out, it's really easy to look at the check number and write down that it's a check for $300. So be careful. Make sure you're writing down the dollar amount and not the check number. So under deductions, I want to write minus $18.20. We have another deduction for the second check, which is $38.40. And then the third check is $68.12. A deposit for $810.12 was not on her bank statement. So she made a deposit, but the bank hasn't processed it yet. So that means we need to make sure that the bank is aware of that, and that goes in the bank column. And that's in addition because it's a deposit. And we're going to prepare Rosa Garcia's bank reconciliation. One thing I would suggest, again, because these are the mistakes that I'm making, so I'm assuming that you guys are going to occasionally make the same mistakes that I make. Sometimes when they give you all this information, it's easy to miss a number in all those words. So I would go through and kind of cross them off as you use them so you know you didn't miss anything. Make sure you got everything in there. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to start with the checkbook balance, which is $929.15, and we're going to add and subtract all of our additions and deductions on the calculator. So I'm going to take 929.15, I'm going to add $1.05, subtract 12, and subtract 20, and when I do that, I should get $898.20. Now, if we made sure that we got everything, that my bank statement balance should come out the same. So I'm going to start with $212.80, and then I'm going to do the same thing for the bank statement balance. I'm going to add my deposit, which is my additions, and I'm going to subtract my deductions. And what you're going to find is we're going to get the same amount, so we know we did it right. If you don't get the same amount, that means you're missing something somewhere or you put something in the wrong column. Okay, next example. It says Earl Miller received his March 8th, 2015 bank statement, which had a 310-cent balance. So that's going to be here in the bank statement balance. And then it says his checkbook had a balance of $1,200.10. The bank statement showed that there was a $15 ATM fee and a $30 check return fee. So this is something that's showing up on the bank account, so we want to make sure it's showing up in her checkbook recorder. So since those are fees, we want to make sure we put those in the checkbook balance under deductions. So there's a $15 fee, and then there's a $30 fee, so I'm subtracting. Now, let's see. It also says that he earned $24.06 in interest. So that's what his bank statement is saying, how much interest he earned. So he wants to make sure that he records that in his checkbook balance. So we're going to put that as an addition, since that's money that he earned that he's putting into his account. So we're going to put that as an addition as $24.06. Now it says he has 3 outstanding checks. Check number 300 for $22.88, check number 302 for $15.90, and check number 303 for $282.66. So that means he wrote these checks, he recorded it in his checkbook balance, but the bank hasn't processed them yet. So we want to make sure that this goes in the bank column, and since this is a deduction, since it's coming out of his account, we want to make sure we subtract these. So, and again, I want to emphasize, because it's really easy to do it, I've done it plenty of times myself, make sure you're writing down the dollar amount and not the check number. So we have a check for $22.88, we have a check for $15.90, and a check for $282.66. Okay, now it says there's a deposit that was made for $1,200.50, and this was not on his bank account. So this is a deposit in transit. So he made the deposit, but the bank hasn't processed it yet. So we need to make sure that we put that as an addition in the bank column. Now it says we're going to prepare Earl's bank reconciliation. So now we're going to start with our checkbook balance, and we're going to add and subtract our additions and deductions and see what we get. So I'm going to take $1,200.10, add the $24.06, subtract 15, subtract 30, and when I do that on the calculator, I get $1,179.16. Now we're going to do the same thing for the bank statement side of this chart. We're going to start with our balance of $300.10. We're going to add and subtract our additions and deductions, and you'll find that we got everything, and this balanced, so we're good. And don't forget, especially for someone that has bad eyesight, like me, it's really a good idea to cross off the stuff as you add it to your chart, so to make sure that you don't miss anything. Okay, last example. It says Ben Luna received his bank statement with a $27.04 fee for a bounced check. So this is a fee that's showing up on his bank statement. So we want to make sure that this fee is recorded in his checkbook. So I want to, under deductions, since this is a fee, I'm going to put minus $27.04. Let's see. He has a $815.75. He has an $815.75 monthly mortgage payment paid through his bank. So every month, the bank automatically withdraws $815.75 for his mortgage. So it's on the bank statement that they withdrew that. So he has to record that in his checkbook balance. So that's definitely going to be a deduction, because that's his payment for his house. There was also a $3 teller fee, so we're going to subtract $3. Let's see. There was also a check printing fee for $3.50, and there was an ATM fee for $6.40. It says there was also a $530.50 deposit in transit. So that means he deposited, but the bank hasn't processed it yet. So we want to make sure that that goes in the addition area of the bank statement side of this chart. The bank shows a balance of $119.17. So we're going to put that here in the balance for the bank statement. And the bank paid Ben $1.23 in interest. So that's going to be an addition that he can add to his checkbook. Bank's checkbook shows a balance of $1,395.28. So we'll put that in for his checkbook balance. And then the last thing is they're giving us the information that we need about outstanding checks. So that's checks that Ben wrote, but the bank hasn't processed yet. So he has that located in his checkbook balance, but it's not showing up on the bank statement yet. So we need to do those deductions on the bank side of this chart. So let's see. So we have a check for $80.30. We have a check for $28.55. And let's see, did we get everything? There's $28.55. There's $8.30. There's that. I think that's it. Okay, so now on our calculators, we're going to make sure that this all balances out. So I'm going to add my additions, subtract my deductions. And so when I do the check balance first, I get a balance, when I put that in on my calculator, of $540.82. When I put in the balance in my calculator for the bank statement and I do my additions and deductions, I get the same thing. So we got everything, and everything balances and checks out. So that's good. So this is basically what you're going to have to do on Connect. I posted on Canvas some blank charts for checkbook reconciliation. So if you want to print those out and use those to practice while you're working on your homework to keep things in the right column and your additions and deductions in the right places, you can have that to use for your scratch work. And I also have at the top of that page with the blank charts in it, I also have like a little cheat sheet that has all the different fees and deposits and things that you can have, which column it should go in, and if it should be an addition or a deduction. And that would look like this. So that's going to be at the top of your sheet with the charts on it.